Da, 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 da. Woo! Okay, so it is the Monday stream. We just had the jury show for semifinal 1. Is it? Did we
Yep.
not? Did you not just see
Yes.
that?
I
Okay, so
did.
it's all fresh in your mind still, Lily loves. I've seen nothing yet, so please give me at least what? Like what happened? What happened?
Well, I'm here to answer questions if you want to throw some at me, Mr.
Okay.
Jordan.
I do have a number of questions. I think my first question is who left the most impact tonight?
It's gonna sound cliche. It's gonna sound obvious.
Hmm.
But
Hold on, I'm just. There was something on my face. There was just something on my face. Sorry.
You grabbed the wrong one. It's Finland who like probably left the biggest impression on me.
Oh, this Finland. Okay. So
Yeah.
Finland left the biggest impact. I know that from watching the rehearsal footage of the Hi Marino's Pie. I know that from watching the rehearsal footage, just from the TikToks, that they didn't show us what was in the box. We from outside didn't see what was inside the box. So that was pretty much all we got. I assume you saw what was in the box.
I saw it was in the box and it was not Gwyneth Paltrow's head. I don't know if that reference is going to go over people.
Like, don't tell me absolutely everything because I want to be surprised still. But just flesh it out as much as you can without giving me every little bit. You know?
I'm trying to think because I'm trying to keep the surprise going. You know what was in the box. Like if you took a little guess, I'm sure you could figure out what was in the box.
I feel like I could guess what was in the box just based on the UMK performance and what we saw revealed from the box in that regard. But then again, like I'm not 100% either.
Honestly, I think this is the UMK performance taken to the next level. This is what we had at UMK.
How?
Exactly. We took what we had at UMK and we were like, you know what? These ideas that we have are good. Let's elevate them to another level. So in UMK, he kind of didn't have a box. He had like a boxing ring made of pallets. Yeah, exactly. So now he's inside of a box instead of in the ring and on top of a box and around the box using the still images. I think this is one of the things I dislike the most about the staging at UMK has been fixed with the new way they staged it.
Nice. Wow. So Watergun was like kind of receptive to, hey, like that part doesn't look that great. Let's buff it up. Let's brush it up a little bit. And they listened. They executed it. Definitely.
And the crowd. Oh, the crowd loved it. The crowd ate that up.
I did see some tweets saying that like the crowd was like all on their feet, all going crazy. Like by the time that was over, like that was a winning moment kind of effect is what I gathered from this. Like even if Garia may not be the one to win the contest, like there was still kind of like that evocative winning energy that came at the very end of that, from what I understand.
Yeah, honestly, the way like the audience loved it. I mean, it could also just be the fact he was the last one to perform, but he did get the biggest cheer. He got the biggest cheer when it was all said and done.
Okay, so great answer to that question.
Yeah, real quick. Hi, Georgios. We will just watch the stream later and leave a comment later.
Yeah.
But thank you for joining us.
Just come watch us later. That's all right.
Even briefly.
We're just happy that you came to say hi.
Exactly. Should we kind of like, I don't know. Who else are you interested in?
I have a number of questions actually.
Okay.
If you don't mind. So, all right. I asked you what the most spectacular moment was. I think I have to ask the inverse side. Was there anyone who in particular who disappointed you? Or didn't meet the expectation that was that really led up to this point? Is there anyone who like or still needs maybe one quick little thing before the live show that needs to kind of be worked on regarding the fact that the televote is the most important factor here?
I would honestly say probably Croatia.
Oh, okay.
I think at this point you can't really tweak much. It wasn't as chaotic. It was much more focused than it was at Dora. but I feel like the
Okay.
chaos helps it. So like the
Mm.
fact that it was less chaotic than at Dora kind of like lets it down in a way that
Like, okay. Mhm.
like going into rehearsals and everything, I was more confident about a
Yeah.
Croatian qualification. I'm less confident about it now. Just solely because it it needed a little more energy and a little more chaos. Now that could still happen tomorrow.
Mhm.
But with the way they staged it, I just think that they went to how do I phrase this? So the song is from a musical that is being
That
written.
they're constructing, yeah.
Yeah, they leaned more into what you'd see staging wise for a musical, whereas at Dora it was more
Mm.
staging what you would see like for a band performing. More of that band energy, I
I
think, would be nice.
okay. That's
Yeah,
a very interesting take on that. I wouldn't expect Croatia or that delegation to be the one to strip back to remove that element of chaos because, like you said, I feel like that chaotic aspect of it was one of the greatest things that you could get from the Croatian performance. And it
yeah,
is really hard that this is kind of dress rehearsal to like switch things around, but who knows? Like it's still not like exactly 100%. So fingers crossed that they can reinvigorate that for when it's time for the live show.
yeah.
I what is this? I love the Super Mario Coins effect on Croatia. Say no more. I want to see it live. But Mario Coins effect, interesting. Marinos
I do
pie.
like playing Super Mario. Yeah, like that one kind of I was like, about,
Mhm. Okay.
Yeah,
Another question I have is the hosting. How was the hosting?
fabulous. I'm not gonna lie, I like the hosting. I think
Yay!
the
Okay,
three of
that's all I
them
can
play
ask
off.
for.
The three of them play off of each other very well.
Mhm.
Um, Goodness, remember in what's it called? In Germany back in 2011, how the hosting was, where you had like the
Yeah.
guy who was kind of playing the straight man, and Anika, the lady with the long blonde hair, was
Mhm.
playing like the broad comedic thing.
Yeah,
They
love
have that kind of
that.
dynamic still going there.
That's sweet. That's nice. It's good for the show.
Yeah, it's a good dynamic the three of them have together.
Okay, like that sounds awesome. And I think like one final question that I have just to satiate my curiosity. So that sequence that they were trying out of the qualifiers, where they had the performers on stage to have like the camera work on them and get their reactions for qualification. We did get recently the announcement that they won't be following that format, that they're switching back to the traditional way of announcing the qualifiers and that camera script. What was that like though when they were trying that out?
Um, it it wasn't bad. It was like they would do the first five, and like
Mhm,
everyone stood up like they're on razors, like it's an elementary school chorus.
mhm,
And then they would announce the first five. They would go off stage, and then after the first five, Alicia would interview them. Like, oh,
mhm,
how are you? Oh, I'm excited. And then we'd go back to the other two announcing the points for the second five, and then they'd go back to talking about the second five's qualifiers. It just felt kind of weird because it took a long time, and
okay.
and then I mean, if you think about it, if you're like one of the last qualifiers, like the second half of qualifiers, at that point, people are ready to turn off their TV sets. They have school tomorrow. They've got work
Okay.
tomorrow. You know what I mean? It just felt kind of weird.
I see why that would be strange to kind of close out the show with, because usually at the end of a Eurovision semifinal, like on TV, there's like it feels more celebratory, I guess. With that
Yeah.
setup, it would be hard to maintain that feeling because like being a non-qualifier, that sucks. And there are countries that like, yeah, for whom it really sucks if they didn't qualify, but at the end of the episode, quote unquote, of Eurovision, it's still lighthearted, like,
Yeah.
so is that painted differently because of the way that they tried that out, I guess?
Yeah. I mean, like the way they had it was they at one point when you have the last six, there's like a six-way split screen.
Mhm.
Um, which was interesting and
Six-way
everything.
split screen.
Yeah.
Six-way split screen.
So it was three on top,
Go.
three on the bottom. And it was like
Okay.
focused on their faces. Um, yeah, no, I honestly I think that's what it is. Also, I think the reason they scrapped it is just because it took a while to get through. and this way it can be
Okay.
faster. It wouldn't shock me if they brought it back next year to give it a go, but this year it's just like it just seemed like it was going to take too long.
Okay.
Like, I
I
don't know what's
see.
going to happen next year. I'm just saying, like, it wouldn't surprise me if they did give it
If they
another
continue to
try.
play with the idea, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm personally just glad that they decided to keep the traditional format just because that's how I prefer to see the show. That's just how I prefer to watch it. Because at the end of the day, I am just a fan of Eurovision, and that's something that I want to be left with at the end of the show. Peter's
Yeah.
mentioning here, the new system lasted for only 2 hours. Iconic equals petition helped or get delegations complained. I understand why they would complain too. Like, I feel like there's a number of reasons why people didn't like this format, and I'm seeing a couple different reasons why actually too.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if that's necessarily why they did it, but it's no longer there, so I'm not going to worry about it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Marino's probably saying they literally have a press conference right after the semis, so what's the point to interview them on stage? Good question. Really good question.
Yeah. I think kind of like if we want to kind of do a quick run through
Mhm.
of the show. So we're gonna have an opening video welcoming everyone to Liverpool, standard procedure.
Yeah.
Then we're gonna have that opening performance. It's good. It's good. It's
The
bright. It's
opening
colorful.
performance.
Julia
Don't tell
sounds
me
great.
anymore. Don't tell me any
That's all.
more about the
That's all I'm
opening
gonna say.
performance.
All I'm gonna say is Julia sounds good. It's a good opener. Then we go into like kind of introducing the hosts. It's cute. You can get an idea of what they start to be like and sound like. Yeah. Trying to think.
How was the quality of the audio and video?
Well, number one, I have a completely different stream than what you guys are gonna be seeing on TV.
Okay.
I will say this caveat, whatever asterisk. The audio was not good from my stream I had. It was like isolated mic only audio, so I could hear every breath, every second of every note, like just straight through that mic, and the mix was off too. So it was just like lots of mic, no music. It was very soft in the music. So like with that off mix, it felt weird. It's gonna be it's a completely different audio feed than what everyone else will get. Yeah. And the video quality wasn't the best, but you know what? I can take the video quality not being the best over just that the sound quality just kind of like left me.
I mean, like that. It's weird to think that the audio feed that you guys would get would just be like the raw mic feed with no other like stuff to go along with it. I mean, that seems a bit unusual, but then again, I guess they have to not give you everything in the zone you're in because they want to protect a couple things for the live show. I'm not sure.
I mean, I don't know. It's not going to bother me too much. It just makes it kind of like pulls you out of the full effect, so it feels like you can't like get as good of an idea as what's happening. But like it literally kind of just sounds like you were getting mic only feed and it was being recorded from the TV.
Okay.
But yeah, that just means I can't say much about vocals.
Yeah. But I mean, like, thankfully we do have like the full package effect, like that we're going to acknowledge tomorrow to kind of like actually give us an opinion on that, even though, I mean, we'll see. Like you were saying, we'll see.
Yeah.
Aaron asked, where can you watch the jury show? And Georgios had replied, only if your press or have tickets, unfortunately.
Exactly.
But
Aaron G.
He also has a question that I had as well. So were there any countries that surprised us?
I have answers because there's a couple that I'm not gonna lie, really shocked me. Switzerland.
She got me staging. She got me staging.
It's not she got me staging. It's very effective. It's very beautiful.
Okay.
It's very nice staging.
What's up. Okay, Switzerland,
and I'm gonna say,
be competitive.
I wasn't sure about what he's wearing prior, but with the lights and everything in the camera, it looks like he's wearing water. Like his
they're playing a long game.
It looks really nice. It's really effective. Also like the choices they made with the angles, with where to place certain aspects, it really makes it very impactful in a positive way. Because you know me, I'm not big on Watergun. I don't like the song. being as blunt as possible. But I think as an overall package, it's really, really good. It's a lot stronger as a package than I think a lot of people were thinking it was going to be, including myself. So yeah, that's like
That
that's the thing with Eurovision, because like before the show, things are different, and then when you get to the actual show, everything can change.
It's one of my favorite things too when countries play the long game, when they like put out their song and it's like a mediocre reaction that people have from it. When they have rehearsal videos, it's a mediocre reaction, and then it happens, you know?
Yeah.
And then
And
it
like
happens where it's just impact.
and people who know me know what is the song I always bring up where don't like it in studio, but give me with the staging, Love Wave. They love wave me. They really did.
This loved waved you? Oh
It love
my
waved
god.
me. Absolutely love waved me.
That is Watergun has the love wave effect. That is what?
Yeah.
I mean, we'll
Another
see,
one
because
that
I very well could experience this impact as well.
yeah. I mean, I that's why I don't want to spoil anything. I'm just saying, like, the fabric looks great on camera. The staging is very thoughtful. It's really it's surprising in a good way. It really is. Another one that's surprising in a very good way, Azerbaijan.
I was going to ask about them in
Azerbaijan,
just a little bit too, like
because
surprisingly in a
with
good
the
way. Tell me why. Tell me.
okay, so there's going to be some in-camera effects,
Mhm.
and the way that they chose to do them feels very Britpop late 90s music video.
Yay!
The song already feels late 90s music video, like it's a late 90s Britpop kind of throwbacky nostalgia bomb. So for people 30 and up, I think it's going to hit them better. It's going to hit them more than younger people, I feel like. And in a good way, Azerbaijan really surprised me. So those are the two that, like, coming out of, like, going into rehearsals, I wasn't really checking for it. Coming out of rehearsals, I have nothing but positive things to say about those two.
That is like, that's fantastic because yeah, Tell Me More is one of my favorite songs, and I've always been very, very scared that people have been sleeping on the song the entire time. I think the song, it's such like a well-constructed piece, and it's perfect for Liverpool specifically.
Yes.
Like if this song were in any other city, then sure, it'd be just a Eurovision song, but it's very special that it's in Liverpool this year.
Exactly. And Aaron G says it beautifully. Azerbaijan definitely benefits from the contest being in Liverpool, as it has that Britpop Oasis feel to it. And they lean into it with the staging. They lean into it with the
I
staging.
like the lighting design from the hints that we got just from TikTok and YouTube. Just that lighting design alone, I thought was really like cool. It doesn't need, because the thing about like Britpop, this kind of performance is like you focus on the band members, you know, you look into their eyes, like that's part of what the impact of it is. So they're leaning into that very nicely. Whether or not they qualify, to me, even really doesn't matter at this point, just because I like to hear that they did justice to the impact of Liverpool in the music soundscape.
Yeah. Who else have we? No, we can kind of go back to the top. Unless anyone else has another question about anything. Norway.
Do they have guitars on stage? I cannot remember. Yes. I think they do. They still maintain those. Good. Because these boys got to have their guitars. Do not take away any guitars from any of our bands this year. You know what? Everyone needs their guitars.
Honestly, Europe likes a guy with a guitar. They really do. I don't know what it is about giving a guy a guitar.
I'm not mad at it. I like guys with a guitar.
I mean, it's nice. But
it's like
sometimes Europe beats it up a little more than I do.
Well, I mean, this is the continent where they had like bards and stuff, you know?
Whenever I hear bard, I still think of like D&D. It's a good class to have. And so let's see here. Norway, fabulous, great opener. The best choice to open, I feel like. No, actually,
I mean,
I would say I think Norway's a good opener, but then I think it was Alicia who pointed out Malta may have been a better opener.
I wonder why she would say that, because I disagree.
Because when you get to see Malta, it's giving you party. It's going straight into the party vibe. So like you're going and watching Eurovision, you're like, you know what? I'm having a party with my friends. this song is about having a party with your friends. And kind of like the way they staged it was very much party with your friends. It's basically with both Malta and Norway, they took the staging from their national finals and just amplified them to make them bigger.
I mean, they really didn't need to change a ton, you know?
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
in a lot of ways, they were pretty full packagey, just like a little tiny tweak here and there is really what they needed. But I'm glad to hear that they stuck with what worked, you know?
Okay, and then we have a quick question from Aaron G asking about Norway. People were saying Alessandra seemed too tense on stage, but I disagree. The dancers make the song feel more alive. What do you think? She didn't seem tense. She seemed relaxed, like she was having a great time. Honestly, Alessandra's cute as a button, as far as I'm concerned. She's just precious. And I think having the dancers does give you, if she was alone on stage, it would look silly. Like, it wouldn't really work for this song. There needs to be something else happening in the background. And also, she sounds great. She can really sing very, very well.
Yeah, she sure can. I just want to pull up this quick question by Georgios. Can you explain why Sweden is skyrocketing in the odds after today? It's my number one. It was great, right?
It was great. I think people were a little nervous just because things have to change from Melody Festival, and they didn't change that much. There was just the screens are smaller. That's it. But you can't really tell. Like, if you did not know, like if you don't watch Melody Festival, and most people who vote don't, then you wouldn't have noticed anything different about it.
Yeah, that's one thing I noticed. Like, people who did watch Melody Festival and they go into the Liverpool performance of Tattoo with just that frame, that lens, that the SVT production is not here, you know, so we don't have that like big ceiling attachment. We don't have a lot of the stuff that was really helpful for creating the impact that Loreen immediately had. But that doesn't mean that impact doesn't follow her.
Yeah.
Like, just because we don't see those staging elements from SVT doesn't mean that it's not going to leave an amazing impact for the casual Eurovision viewer because they don't watch Melody Festival.
Yeah. Also, my other thing with the odds is like there's not that much money in those pools. There really isn't. So like one person betting, you know what? I feel like I can put like $200 down on Sweden winning and then get like $400 out. It's a safe bet. It's Loreen, you know, it's not shocking. It's one of those things that like it's not like betting odds are like weird to follow anyway.
They are, and there are some years where they're just absolutely all wrong.
I mean, yeah, but like lately they've been, yeah. I mean, the odds are gonna always audit, you know, be audited.
And it's actually a very good thing as a Euro fan to be literate of the odds. To
you guys need to learn how to gamble.
Like, it's not. Yeah, it's gambling versus the show.
Yeah, exactly. And I don't really pay attention to the odds anyway.
Okay, this is an interesting question. Hello, by the way, Nate. The border on the box is taking me out of it. It doesn't feel immersive, but I'm sure it will to be great. Okay, so border on the box. What could Nate be referring to?
I'm going to guess that's for Loreen. Maybe.
Oh, the border on the ceiling box.
Yeah. Here's the thing.
Okay.
We watched Melody Festival. The average person is not going to have watched Melody Festival.
And it's a different TV show completely.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not worried about the border on the box. It's fine, guys. She's sailing through to the final.
Okay, you hear that from like Lili first? She's sailing through the final. The Eurovision
shocking, isn't it? Loreen is going to qualify you guys.
Listen,
absolutely shocking.
We have to lay it out there practically.
I can't believe it. I was blown away. I watched the performance. I was like, she's going to actually qualify. Oh my gosh. She's going to qualify.
My question is, who in their head is going right now like, oh my gosh, Sweden's going to qualify? Like, I want to know who that person is, because I bet you they like came from like an Amish community or something. But okay, moving along from that, Georgios mentioned crazy enough, my friend watched both the Melody Festival and performance, and she saw the 30-second rehearsal, and she didn't notice the box was smaller. Hey,
That's a good
is a great
that
sign. That is a great sign.
Exactly. And that's my point.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's see here. I'm just kind of going through questions.
Mm-hmm.
Who could be a shock not qualifier?
Okay, can I answer this question even though I've seen nothing? Can I
Sure.
provide? I think this shock non-qualifier spot is, and this is like with complete ignorance because Lily actually watched it and I didn't, but my gut feeling is it's between Czechia and the Netherlands. Shock and Q. That is just my
Disagree.
first instinct. I've seen nothing.
Disagree. I feel like Vesna's safe.
Vesna's safe. Okay.
Czechia, because I know there's somebody else who asked. Marino's Pie asked how was Czechia. Czechia's safe. I think Czechia is safe. It's beautiful. It's feminine but strong and powerful. The color scope
it's almost like a K-pop group. Like they almost look like a K-pop group up there, and I'm just like, I want you in the final just because you deliver something so different.
I'm not worried about Czechia. Like the staging looks gorgeous. They sound good. The choreography is good. I know some people like worried because of like the way that the pre-parties went, but I'm not worried about Czechia. I'm not worried about Czechia at all.
That's great. The other side of the coin was the Netherlands for me, but then again, yeah, that's aside from the fact that I haven't seen much about what they've done since.
And we're gonna just focus on Czechia. Aaron G, do Czechia's ponytails look tacky or not? They do not. They look good and they look thoughtful, and it feels like it ties in nicely with the theme of sisterhood. I don't know how many of you guys have sisters, but one of the things when you have a sister, you're always braiding each other's hair. Like it just happens. You're braiding ponytails constantly. And it kind of like, for me, it ties in nicely with that. And the choreography choices they're using with the ponytails are very thoughtful. It feels very much like, here we are. I have this pony. Let me move this around. It like every movement they make feels like it's there for a reason, but it doesn't feel over rehearsed. It still feels very natural. And there's stuff with it that's very playful with the way they have it staged. So like it ties in nicely.
You hear this, Elda? They're safe. They're probably most likely going to be safe.
I feel good about Czechia. I really do.
I do see like a comment here that I want to highlight before we lose it. Guys, what are your opinions on Malta? I think Malta is the most difficult one to judge at this current time. In my opinion, it will qualify in a televote-only semi as it is so fun. All right, we talked about that just a little bit, but you can see it qualifying?
I can see a pathway for Malta. Malta's borderline now for me. Because it's going to depend on the mood of the people. To me, Malta has always been like friend of a friend. It's always been that kind of song where the fandom is like, this is going to do nothing, but like the public could really really embrace it and give it some love and make it go through. I know friend of a friend kind of.
No, friend of a friend. I see that exact impact because I mean, like younger, more teenage viewers could like jump on this, you know? Like I feel like it has a younger viewer appeal.
It also has older viewer appeal too. I feel like it has a good age range appeal. I just don't know. It's one of those ones that like it's going to depend on the mood of Europe, but I can see it qualify.
Interesting. Okay. That actually makes me a little bit happier to know that they have the right kind of energy to carry themselves to the final because of how widely appealing the song is. Okay,
and I'm seeing some other people like Peter Hodge is saying,
you guys are just on fire today.
Do you think it has more appeal than Zeni? And he was also concerned. For me, yes.
Personally, no. But
for me, yes, this is more my style than Zeni was. I like both songs a lot. They both have a good like bit of funk to them. I love a horn line, and saxophone's not a horn, but when it comes to this kind of music, you put sax on the horn line still. It like that hook is really strong. And I think it doesn't have the other thing with Zeni is you have to think that song is coming on strong immediately. It's
Yeah.
aggressively instead of meat.
Instead
And if you're
of
not,
meat, and yeah,
exactly.
we all know. If you don't know,
Yeah.
do some homework.
Yeah, exactly. So because of that, it kind of like is a little shocking. There's nothing aggressive about the song, about dance or own party.
Mhm.
It's like it's not even aggressive. Like even in the song, it's about like what picking up some chick at a party, but it's like a low key way of picking up a chick. Like there's nothing aggressive
Yeah,
about it. It feels very approachable. So I can
it's
see,
almost like coy in a way. It's a very
yeah,
coy way of approaching and like saying, "Do you want to dance with me?" But like so respectful that it almost seems
yeah,
reserved.
exactly. And that's the charm of the song. It's a little dorky, a little cheesy, but like the way
Mhm.
it's performed, and the structure, I honestly see Malta going over either way. It wouldn't shock me if it qualified. It wouldn't shock me
Mhm.
if it not qualified. If it's in the
Mhm.
final, I'm happy. If it didn't make it, you know what? Maybe next year Malta. I like the song personally, but again, I can see it going either way and not getting upset.
Mhm. Yeah, and I kind of have the same sentiment, but I do wonder of what you saw that I didn't see, that what might change my opinion. But I mean, we can also just find that out on the stream after the
Tomorrow.
semifinal. By the way, you guys, after the semifinals, 15 minutes after each semifinal, come back to us, come back to Eurovision Fam. We're going to give you some more perspective and some more of our thoughts. Augusto's going to be here. Y'all remember him, y'all love him, and he's uh yeah, like we're gonna provide a lot more thoughts on that. But with that said, we have a lot of comments, like a ton of comments. You guys,
Yeah.
we're all concerned about our favorites. I understand this. Like
Yes,
we're
same.
all just worried.
I don't know. I haven't talked about whoever they talked to. Serbia. Um,
Samo mi se spava.
it's
I just
cute.
want to sleep forever. Hey, yeah, okay.
I like it better when I'm dreaming. It's like basically amplifying what was at the national final. It's taking the
Mhm.
national final staging and elevating it.
I just want the crab walk, okay? Like that
You're gonna
crab
get your
walk
crab
that
walk,
he
I
does,
promise. Spoiler, your
because
crab walk is
there
coming.
that is kind of the winning moment, quote unquote, in that song for me. So yes.
Yeah.
A
Who should
lot
we
of
go on to
predictions
next?
like that people have, but it's okay because you know what do we do here other than just try to predict, right?
Exactly.
Just try.
Onik, Onik Avestian.
I decide to
Hello.
be
Come
good,
back.
to good,
Come
no
back on
good.
Wednesday because we will be
Come back
talking
on
about
Wednesday.
Armenia. But stick
We'll be
around for
talking
today
about
too.
Armenia. And Armenia is currently my winner, Onik. So
Yeah.
just fingers crossed for both you, for both myself, because Future Lover, that is my song. That is my
The
song.
stream loves Armenia this year. Let me see here. I'm gonna click about the Felix P. Sweden just proved everyone wrong. They've recovered and are totally left everyone gagged. Sweden was
Recovered. I didn't
fantastic.
even think there was an issue. I
No,
personally didn't even think there was like realistically an issue.
no,
Recovered.
there wasn't. Recovered, honey. No, Sweden did great. Sweden
That's
did
assuming
great.
that they tripped.
The only
No, they
way
didn't trip. They did a
Sweden,
cartwheel.
the only way Sweden is not going to be great is if they get too comfortable and then like something
Mhm.
stupid happens. Like I just don't know what to say other than Sweden's doing it. Sweden's doing what they need to do.
Mhm. Yeah.
Let me see
Period.
here. I heard talk about Czechia surprisingly slaying. I'm not surprised about Czechia doing well. Like that
For me,
staging is effective. It
I
really
don't think I
is.
was like necessarily surprised by it. I just noticed that the staging angle that they took and the styling angle is not anything like we've seen them do. So I thought that was too risky potentially, but I guess like they're solid, you know?
I think like Czechia has somebody who works for them in the delegation who's like a graphic designer. I really do because like they get the staging right more often than not when it
Mhm.
comes to like
Oh,
since their
Czech
comeback.
staging. I mean, even Oh My
Shoot,
God, you
even
know, like I liked the staging for Oh My God, even though like the
it needed more
performance itself was
color.
a mess.
It was just too dark for oh my god. That was
Mm.
my biggest issue with oh my god was it was just too dark. But like
Mhm.
Czechia tends to have staging that looks good and is on trend. Like with what's
Mhm.
happening in the graphic design world, they get the visual very well. Um, no, I wasn't worried about Czechia. I'm still not worried about Czechia.
That is awesome. So don't you worry, Elda. Don't you worry anyone who has Czechia up there because they're looking good.
Okay, so Aaron G, Portugal is my biggest worry. Lili, as you have watched the dress rehearsal show, please say what you think about the outcome. Portugal is one that I'm worried about. Portugal went from safe. For me, going into rehearsals, Portugal was safe. Now Portugal is borderline, and it has nothing to do with Mimicat.
Like, is it empty? Did they keep the stage empty?
I'll explain.
Okay.
No. She's great. The dancers are great. She was better in the jury show rehearsal than she was in the earlier rehearsal this morning. She's giving us lots of energy. She's giving us lots of face. She's doing what she needs to do. The issue is that the way they chose the camera angles just make it feel smaller than it makes it feel small, and it lacks the joy. Because the song, joy. It's like okay. It comes down to the cameras. It really does, because it's like there's a lot of wide shots. And like
I noticed that in the TikToks. I didn't like those big wide shots because I felt empty, you know?
Yeah. I don't mind wide shots, but there's too many wide shots. And they don't feel thoughtful. Gosh. Like it's like there would be like there's certain points in the song where I would have just reversed the way they did it. Like there's one point where they zoom, like go from wide to zoom. I would have done the opposite, from close in, zoom out. Just like there's little things, and there's like a lack of energy. It needs more like kinetic energy in the camera angles. I think what it is because Portugal, this is like the first time Portugal's had to stage something upbeat in a long time.
Yeah.
And I think that they're a little lost.
Was the last time, and like Telemovish, we already know what happened. So
Telemovish wasn't even upbeat.
You know what I mean? That upbeat?
I wasn't upbeat.
I think it's so upbeat.
It's you can dance to it, but it's not upbeat. It feels like because Telemovish you can get away with like languid camera angles because the way the song is, like his style of singing. This doesn't have that style at all. But yeah, like I think the issue is it's the first time they're doing something upbeat, and Portugal does intimacy really well. And I think they were afraid of going intimate with this performance, when I feel like if they would intimate with it, even if it's an upbeat song, it would have worked a little better.
I do notice that like Portugal, they get a little rusty when it comes to trying to make a dance like Quero Ser Tua, remember? Like sometimes they get just a little rusty in terms of trying to bring back dancey kind of energy. But I don't know, like for me, I was just not very happy about the fact that in the rehearsal clips that I have seen, they got rid of the couch. I loved the couch. That was one of my favorite things to see. So, that part was disappointing just from the immediate outset, but we'll see. We'll see how the overall impact is.
Yeah. It's not awful. Another act, Ireland.
So in all the rehearsal clips that I have heard that have been made available to the public, he did not sound good.
He sounds fine. I mean,
he sounds fine.
Again, I'm not going to comment about any vocals because like my audio feed was horrible. It didn't like stand out bad to me. He did have in-ear issues during this last run through. At the beginning, he kind of like was playing with his in-ear. It's much more effective
having in-ear issues. Yeah.
It's much more effective with the crowd in the stadium, and that could help, give them some momentum. We also had a costume change. If you guys are,
nice.
Connor, I think is the singer's name. He's changed the fit a little bit. And I think that the tweaks that were made have improved it, but I'm still, I can't see it qualifying.
Okay. Well, I mean, like it's good to be honest in that regard.
Yeah. Just trying to think here because I kind of want to touch on everybody. We talked about Croatia briefly. Croatia went from safe for me, like a safe qualifier for me, to like I don't think it's happening anymore. And I'm one of the few people who enjoys Croatia's song in studio.
Yeah. 2 pennies from the broadcaster, like she deserves so much more. I agree, she does.
Like the Mimicat's being wasted. Like she's such a great performer.
Is being wasted.
She's such a great performer.
Yeah.
But there's only so much she can do with those camera angles.
I feel really bad because I feel like there are a lot of performers this year who are like amazing performers, but their delegation isn't allowing them to have like the right camera angles that would get them the crucial votes, you know?
Yeah, I feel like, I mean, maybe, who knows? I also feel like there's a lot of artists who kind of like are coming with songs that aren't typical for their discography, and it's kind of
Mhm.
like, pushing it back.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just thinking because I spoke about Switzerland and how I was surprised. I think it's really effective.
Mhm.
And I went from, going into this, I was like, oh, Switzerland's not going to qualify to Switzerland's qualifying.
Okay.
Like,
All right.
that's how good that
So
staging
so
package
now
is.
so now we can keep our mind open to the potential of Switzerland qualifying because there's a lot of surprises.
Yeah. And good surprises. Good surprises.
Mhm.
Um,
I could see
oh, you
Portugal
know
and
what?
Latvia missing out on both Switzerland and Ned making it honestly.
I didn't talk about Latvia.
No, you
I don't
didn't
want to
talk about
break my
Latvia.
heart.
And I forgot to ask about Latvia. My boys, how are they? How are they?
They're beautiful. Like, Latvia's staging is honestly so pretty. It's so lovely. It's like the staging from the national final, but with floor LEDs, and it just elevates it all. And there's like this warmth and
Floor
intimacy, and everyone
LEDs?
gets a moment. And it's so good. I'm still worried about Latvia though. But like, I don't want to be, but I am. If it
Mhm.
were up to me, Latvia would be sailing through that final, but it's not up to me. I
And
want
the sad
Latvia.
part is like there are so few things they actually need to do to improve like how overall package this is already in my
Everything is good.
opinion. But
Everything is good.
but the casual viewer are they going to be able to access the casual viewer? I am so worried because like there I feel like there are a number of acts every year that Eurofans get behind. We're so like intensely like, yeah, they're gonna make it, they'll go through, but then the European public gets a voice and zeros.
Yeah,
I
Latvia
don't want
is
that to
such
happen.
Latvia is gorgeous. They deserve
Mhm.
the world. And Andre's voice. It's just like, even with my terrible audio quality, his voice still hits me every single time.
And
Um,
he's like he doesn't know how not to be on key. Okay, he has no
yeah,
idea. He has to search like far and wide, thousands of kilometers to find the wrong key. That boy can
yeah,
sing.
yeah,
That boy can
yeah.
sing.
Um, Onik is asking your favorite Eurovision 2023 song.
Let's see.
Let's give
How can I say
let's
this?
give Jordan a moment.
How can I say this? I decided to be good, do good, look good. Yes, Armenia is my winner this year. I need her in the final, and I need her to at least score like on the left side of the board. Otherwise, I will not be okay.
Yeah, my
That's
favorite
cool.
is Slovenia. I don't have a prop. Um, I can just say Slovenia
Hold
is
on.
my favorite and leave it at that.
Oh,
And the
so
semi,
again,
my second favorite song is on the semi. So hey,
my cat is laying on my flag, so I was gonna grab Slovenia, but I don't want to upset him. So
I don't want to make the cat angry.
uh,
Yeah, I'm gonna just keep going to kind of make sure we
yes.
touch on everybody. Israel,
Hmm.
cute.
Is sailing through. I'm guessing.
Yeah, honestly, she sounded so good in the jury show. The
Hmm.
staging is thoughtful. The outfit is cute. She's gorgeous. Like, I'm sorry, she's just straight gorgeous. Um, there's just a
I'm really
couple of
curious
things.
about the dance break. I'm super curious about You Want to See Me Dance because I've heard all kinds of perspectives on it. I haven't seen very much of it at all. You Want to See Me Dance? What? Because like from the studio cut, that was a quote unquote winning moment. And we talked about this in a previous stream too, how they tried
I
to.
when I phrase this, I don't like the dance break personally.
Mm,
I'm
okay.
not a big fan of the choreo they chose.
Hmm.
Um, but that being said, it's not horrible.
It's not
It's just
horrible.
kind of
Okay.
like it's not bad. It's just like I I think just personally I'm not a big fan of the choreo they chose for it.
Hmm.
And you will see the dance break. That's kind of like the part they chose for the recap.
Okay.
Um, yeah.
Hey, I mean, like Unicorn, if people come to Eurovision looking for a Eurovision type song, then they could be happy that this is probably going to make it to the final. You know, if
Yeah.
they go to Eurovision like, I don't have a single genre in mind or a single message in mind, I just want to experience just sheer wavelength, then Israel's for
Hmm.
you.
Yeah. And it's a vibe. It's cute.
It's like it's all vibe though. Like the entire
Yeah,
package of it is just vibe, but that's
yeah,
okay. That's okay. Some people just do that.
yeah. Um,
I only have the flags of my favorites. I'm sorry.
he's collected them over years. I don't have that many
I've
flags.
collected them over the years. That's what it is.
I have 2 flags. And they had nothing to do with Eurovision. That's why I have them.
Okay.
Mystery.
Like,
Nothing to do with Eurovision. That's why I have them.
mhm.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna say Moldova. I'm just I know you have to go to work soon. We haven't talked about Moldova yet. I feel like Moldova's
Oh my
safe.
gosh, Moldova.
I have no worries about Pasha and crew. It's good. It's fun. It's exactly what you
Okay.
want from Moldova.
So, like, I have one quick question about Moldova. So, I remember from the rehearsal TikTok that there was a shot of the flautist in the center of like lasering white lights, and that looked like it was going to be super impactful. Do we get that in the way that it should be done? I guess.
Yeah, it's very impactful. Every
Because that was one of
moment.
my favorite things to see, like during the rehearsals period.
Here's the way I
Was
feel
that
about
moment with the
Malta.
flautist.
There are so many moments in Malta when you're watching them. If you took a still of that and made
Moldova?
it a painting,
Mhm.
oh my gosh, yes,
Moldova?
Moldova. I'm so sorry, I said Malta. There's so many points in Moldova's staging where if you took a screenshot and it would be a painting. It's so thoughtful. Like there's a
I should have bought a
phrase when it
Moldovan
comes to
flag. Yeah.
cinematography. There's a phrase when it comes to cinematography where every frame's a painting.
Mhm.
That applies heavily to Moldova.
Gosh. And does it feel shamanic? Does it feel magical? You know, does it feel like we're dancing
It
around the fire in the
feels
woods?
it feels shamanic. It feels epic. It feels great. Felix P says,
I
funny how the
need Pasha. How the poorest
Felix says
country in
funny.
Europe still manages to slay the staging every single year. And it's because you don't need money, you need smarts, you know?
Hmm.
It's like you don't
Moldova
necessarily
knows what
need
they're
budget.
doing. Moldova,
It's like they will
not there. Trying to think.
they
I didn't
came to
like this.
Lisbon with €2. €2 in Lisbon.
Here's how I feel about Moldova. Moldova knows how to stage. Because you always remember their staging, even if you don't remember the song.
Exactly.
I remember, but even then, like the worst staging Moldova ever did was 2015 for me. Like it just made me uncomfortable. It was too much. I'm
I
no
liked
prude.
it. I liked it. It was cheese. I mean, it was very uncanny and like
Yeah.
strange and weird, but I enjoyed how much it made me question everything.
Yeah, but the staging makes me question nothing. I only feel love and I feel joy and I feel happiness. I love Moldova staging. I'm not worried about
Okay.
Moldova. Yeah.
Yay, good, because they were one that I was like, what if people don't get this? You know, like what if the Shum effect isn't lasting anymore? Because I know that they're leaning a little bit on the Shum effect,
Hmm.
just a tad,
But like
but
it kind of suits Pasha at the same time though. Like I feel like Pasha's the
mm,
kind of person who wanders around like dad sandals or barefoot. Like I don't think he owns a pair of closed-toed shoes. He just
mhm.
does. I don't get that vibe from him.
And he'll
Um,
tell you how to properly drink yerba mate. Like,
yeah, like he just. Oh my gosh! Wow. Yeah, no. Let me see here. Next up, we've talked
Soarele,
about.
Soarele.
Oh, there's a
Okay,
commercial break between Moldova and Sweden. Which I think
a commercial
helps.
break between Moldova and Sweden. Okay,
It helps.
they're setting up the screen. They're setting
Yeah.
up the ceiling.
Like
Press
yeah,
squad.
there's a good split there, and it helps out because it kind of like both of those songs are very high impact. So
Hmm.
having that space there to breathe is useful. We didn't talk about
That's
where
good.
the other commercials are. There's one between Latvia and Portugal as well. So that's
Between
going to be
Latvia
another
and Portugal.
commercial.
Okay,
Hmm.
so we're 4 songs in. Before the 5th song, we're gonna get a commercial break.
Yeah, and we need it. I think that helps out. Honestly, to me, it helps Latvia out to have that commercial break there.
I feel like it might help Latvia and Portugal potentially. Like it might
Yeah, it
help the
helps
two
them
of
both
them
out.
to not be too close.
Yeah. Let's see here. And then Felix P. I really don't want Moldova to have the fluid outcome. Same.
Hmm.
Same. Absolutely
I
same.
hope so too. Like it's hard though, because sometimes really risky, really quote unquote good songs that we perceive to be like, oh yeah, like Europe is gonna get this, even though it's different, don't always land, and that's because of the general taste of the continents. I mean,
Yeah.
all continents now, but
Yeah. Okay, let's go ahead and go into Azerbaijan. Well, I talked about Azerbaijan more in depth earlier as one of my surprises, like in a positive way. Sticking to that, I really am surprised by Azerbaijan. I think they're bringing something interesting and different. Yeah. And then Czechia, we talked about. Beautiful. No notes. Another thing I like about Czechia, that I didn't mention before, is the font they're using is a very strong font. Like it honestly kind of looks a little bit like Bison that they're using. If you don't know what Bison is, it's the font we use in our logos. It's like a blockier version of Bison, something similar to that, and it contrasts very nicely with the soft pink and the softness of the clothing that the ladies have on. And then
I like the fact that they're continuing to take risks. Continuing.
The Netherlands. So I haven't spoken about the Netherlands at all.
Okay, the Netherlands. So tell me about the Netherlands. I'm sorry, just hearing.
The stage is really pretty.
Yeah, no, really I picked up on that. Like the promo shots that they had were so unbelievably gorgeous, but those were just photos.
It's staged wonderfully. I still think it might be borderline. I could see it go either way, but I'm leaning more towards it making it through. I feel like I don't know. I still feel like it can go either way. I think it could go either way, mostly because of how Europe is feeling.
Yeah.
If they're gonna want to if they're gonna want to have that come through. Also, my biggest worry when it comes to the Netherlands is it's in between Czechia and Finland. And both of those are very high impact.
High impact, yeah.
And both of those, I think, are a little more immediate than the Netherlands is.
I think I will say this would benefit greatly from it being a ballad, I guess.
They exactly, because it's not a lot of ballads. I know they made some changes to the arrangement from the way it was before. Changes are a huge improvement. They really are. The changes make it sound better. Again, my audio wasn't the best in the world, but from what I could tell, the changes are subtle, but they make a positive difference.
Hey, it looks like the Netherlands, despite how chaotic this year was, have managed to create a situation where it looks like they're going to be able to pull through. Nice job, you guys.
Give me 1 second here real quick. Jordan, just entertain people.
Okay, you guys. So I'm going to look back at all the questions that we have here. What do you think of Portugal? I love Portugal. I love it as a song. I love Mimicat as a performer. And I think overall, like, she doesn't deserve to be treated by the cameras the way that I guess Lili is telling me, like the empty shots and stuff like that. I like intimacy with the Portuguese entry. I like being able to be like super up close and like being able to see expressions and stuff, because they also released the music video for Coração, and that is very like close, tight quarters kind of essence too. That's something that I feel like needs to be employed. It doesn't look like it might happen though. Fingers crossed, because I do really, really, really want Portugal in the final.
I want Portugal in the final too. But if they don't make it, I blame it on the camera angles. Like the camera angles really do drag it down. Mimicat looks great. The dress has great movement. The dancers are good. Everything about that feels good. Let me see here. What's the other one here? Mark says, I just can't see how the Netherlands doesn't get lost between Czechia and Finland. Agreed. I think
the ballad aspect is really the strongest like thing that's going to keep them to stand out.
It's what's going to help them the most. It's what's going to help them the most. But I do worry still.
Improvements. That's all we can really ask for.
Yeah, I do really. I still kind of worry a bit for them, but I mean, yeah, I just we'll see what happens. I'm not trying to dog on anybody when I say that. It's just like it's borderline at this point for me. Same with like I think a lot of people are borderline for me now, but I wasn't really expecting to be borderline.
Interesting. Okay.
And then Aaron G asks, did you watch France, Germany, and Italy as well? Yes, I watched all 3 of those too. Quick rundown. France is also let down by camera angles, I feel like.
Okay.
There could have been some other camera choices made to improve with France. Love Germany. Germany is fabulous. I want Germans
Yes,
to
notable
know.
loss. Yes.
I really think Germany's coming top 10. I get this feeling Germany's going to
Interesting.
do
Ooh.
much better than a lot of people think it is.
Mhm.
And here's the thing, Germany, if you come top 10 this year, don't next year follow up with something that makes everyone go, why?
Like, I don't
Last
feel
time you
hate. Anyways, speaking of Germans, bye, Georgios. Have a good sleep. We'll see you next time.
Georgios. Well, think about it. What was it? 2018 was it the year they came? Like 4th?
18 was Michael Skulta. Yeah, 4th.
Okay, what did they send in 2019? Sister.
Say less. Say less.
So Germany, if you come top 10 and you do another national final, none of that sister nonsense. None of it.
Hey, like they managed to pull through with a pretty okay national final this year. It was okay. It was okay.
But don't make me think about the 2019 national final from Germany again.
Where's Makeda right now? Because
where's my girl Makeda?
Where's my girl Makeda?
Is she still doing musical?
No hate to sister, but y'all weren't even talking to each other 20 minutes after that show ended.
Aaron G, do not speak it into existence.
I'm tired. That's it. That's it. Like that's the only reaction I have to that.
I'm tired. End of stream. We're done. No. I'm sorry. Yeah, like I'm just trying to think. We've touched on everybody. Just go back because it started with Finland. Finland's fabulous. They took what's at UMK, kept all the good bits of UMK, but improved upon the parts that weren't the best.
Good. Dress me.
We don't talk about 2019.
I remember so much of that national final. Like I have retained so much of that, like mentally.
Same.
We'll talk about that someday. Maybe after like this crazy week when we can actually talk about other stuff.
Oh, Aaron G, what about Italy?
Oh yeah, Marco.
I like because Italy has dancers in the background, and they're really subtle. Like they're so subtle that you like when you first see them, you're like, is that an LED or is that people? It's a very subtle kind of dance that's happening.
Okay.
And I feel like I see some people making fun of the way that because it's like they're kind of dancing on like stairs and like a trampoline as well. And if you look up the like lyrics to look up the lyrics to the song, and I feel like the dancers suit that because when you're looking at like the song is about a bad relationship where it's like you're like addicted to somebody who's toxic and not good for you. And I feel like having the trampoline come through and bounce up and back, it suits that kind of like, tug and pull you get in one of those relationships. I really think it's beautiful. And
that is very artistic.
And like it's a great choice. Also, I love Marco's top he has on. It's so I'm looking at that shirt and I'm like, I want to make that shirt. It would take me forever to make, but I could do it. It's just really beautiful. And it hits the lights so nicely. I'm not a big fan of the song personally, but I think the staging has a lot of thought in it. And Italy is not here to win this year at all. Italy is here just to be placed respectably. And I think they will place respectably.
Hey, and I mean, like, there are some Italian years where all they want to do is just produce nice, pretty things. And I like that about Italy. When they're not trying to be competitive, they're just trying to sculpt something that feels like it's them.
Yeah, and like I can respect that move. Let me see here. Mark, I can't wait for brother to represent Germany next year. You know what? Tokyo Hotel's having a comeback. There you go. We'll have another set of twins next year.
Yeah, Here,
Sorry,
Marco
it's a
has
terrible
the
joke.
stare into the camera that kind of creeps me out. My issue is that he doesn't look in the camera enough. Like, my
Yeah.
issue is that he like dodges the camera a lot. I want him to look at the camera more, personally.
I think, I don't
Might
know,
be
his
his
the way
artistic
he looks
style.
at camera works for me personally. Yeah. I just want Italy to get the Voi Quadamedi
I don't
Quadame
think that's
treatment.
gonna happen.
It's not going to.
I don't think that's gonna happen.
Because Italy has people like Italy, like people like a man ballad that's staged beautifully, and that's what Italy's bringing.
Yeah, it's
So
never
does
out of
anyone?
fashion.
Yeah. Does anyone else have any other questions about the semi at
Anyone else
all?
have questions about the semifinal?
I will say this: one of the interval acts did make me have a tear, so that's nice.
And I like who these interval acts are.
Well,
I
today
like
was
who they
Rita
are.
Ora too. I'm just like,
Oh, today
like
was Rita
I'm
Ora
like,
as well, huh?
yeah, I'm like, and it was Rita Ora was one, and the other one was oh, what's her name? Ukraine. Oh my gosh, I feel bad. Sweet people.
Alyosha?
I should have written. Thank you, Aloysia and Rebecca Ferguson sing a duet together. It gave me a little bit of a tear.
I look forward to that. We're going to be seeing those between the results and the live.
Felix P says, "What do you think about the hosts?" Fabulous. Like, I really think this is good hosting. It could be improved, but at the same time, I have no complaints. I think it's fine. It's charming. They don't feel stiff. They feel natural together, and they play off of each other very nicely. If I had to compare this hosting to any other hosting, I would compare it to Germany. 2011 kind of feels similar to that. But the jokes land a little better, probably because it's written by an English speaker. You know,
okay.
our native.
Very nice.
We know that the writers are native English speakers. And
Cool.
it's kind of fun because like they're giving like Yulia kind of like a bad, not like a bad, like a hard kind of, she's from the hard kiss, so they're giving her a little bit of a hardness with the state with her styling with her script. Yeah, I think that's about it. Because I know you have to go.
Oh yeah, I have like a job that I have to go to right after this, you guys. But I do want to say thank you so much for joining us for this post-jury show stream. We are going to be streaming right after the semifinal to talk about just reactions to all of this. You're going to get my raw reactions. And also, if you are outside of the Eurovision participating countries and you will have a Twitter profile, you would like to discuss with us about your thoughts on Eurovision, I will be prioritizing your voice on Twitter Spaces. You're going to see some announcements a little bit later. But yeah, Lily just watched the jury
Eurovision
show.
Fam.
It looks like we're in for an amazing show tomorrow.
Absolutely.
I can't believe this is already happening. This is already happening. Okay.
And Mark, same. I'm gonna be a wreck too.
Me too.
And I'm gonna be in public. So yeah, I'm looking forward to tomorrow's show. There's gonna be some surprises. I don't think I spoiled anything. And
no, you spoiled nothing for me.
Good. I'm trying to keep everything pretty vague for everybody because I hate spoilers myself. So yeah, thank you all so much. And we will see you again tomorrow for the shorts. Again, if you don't follow Eurovision Fam on Twitter, follow Eurovision Fam on Twitter. If you don't follow us on YouTube, follow us on YouTube because we're going to be going live again tomorrow. And I'll be back Wednesday to go over the jury show for Semi 2. So guys, thank you again. And
all right, thank you guys.
I'm going to start waving.
See you later.
Bye.